Hello overseers, last episode we redesigned our base to fully automate gene production, making diamond research points more efficient. Now it's time to push our tech even further. We're setting up colliders to upgrade energy orbs, unlocking Energy Orb Mk3s, but to get there we need to focus more on diamond research. That means we need our gene production to be optimized even further. Can we fine tune our trails and maximize our research output? Let's dive in and see. We've recently just sent off 3 genes for a nuptial flight, getting us 3 points, which we invested in over here. Unlocking the energy collider and the ability to make energy pod number 2s. So we want to start making this. Let's see what that involves. What I've learned from this game is better just to sort of forge forwards rather than try to optimize everything perfectly, because we've redesigned this base like 8 times now, so let's just forge forward. We want to get the energy collider so that we can make the thumper. If we look at the materials required for the thumper, that's our ultimate long-term goal. Definitely not going to happen this episode. But the materials required for the thumper involves what looks like 25 Energy Orb 3, some LEDs, and the rest of the materials isn't really an issue. So we definitely need to start getting all of that across. Now the other thing is, for this thumper, we need to transport like 200 iron blocks, copper blocks, and all of that stuff across to this island. We've got the 100 iron blocks. We need around 40 more, we need 40 more iron blocks. We've got the 100 copper blocks. We've got about 100 concrete on this island. So we've got to transport some stuff across. We've got the 25 steel plates. Screws we're good on, diodes we're good on, and then we just need some copper wire. So we might get some stuff getting transported across as well while we're waiting, because I don't want to build all this and then have to transport everything across. So we have a lovely little thing over here, which is a flight pad that goes to this side of the world. So we'll start just getting some of the items across. We might just build our thumper and then it'll tell us what's missing, right? That'll just grab everything that it can. And now we know exactly what we're missing. So we need some iron blocks. Now we do have a lot of scrap iron over on this side of the world that's currently making screws, I believe. But we can probably stop doing that for a little bit. 110 screws. Yeah, we've got way too many screws on this island, so we can just pull away the screw manufacturer, not that. This one makes screws. So if we just pull that away, we've already got a process that makes iron blocks, so we can leave that running for a little bit. In terms of copper to wire, we can probably put a process that does that. In fact, we can probably just move this over here. And since this place already makes scrap copper, we can just use that instead. So we can get it to grab scrap copper. We'll just temporarily alter this trail, and then we'll just get a workshop that makes that instead for now. We've got to remember to change this back at some point. And I don't know what this stockpile is, but we'll just use it. And that can make wire. Done. Alright, cool. So we're getting some wire across. What else do we need for the thumper? We need 40 resin. We're going to transport that across. That's going to be our ultimate challenge. And we need some concrete. So let's bring some concrete across. Our concrete is currently being made over here and it's not being used anywhere. So we can put a dispenser over here such that these guys can grab some concrete on the way back and just start transporting some concrete on the way back. Oops. And then we just get some concrete storage going over here. Ah, there's no more concrete. All right, let me find a spare thing. We'll just build it. It's fine. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support DataEngineerPlays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. So when they land now, we can get them to transport some concrete. Oh, I can't get this divider trail changed. So we'll get a hauling trail now, and then we'll get it into a divider. Just so these ants that are responsible for transporting our desert island materials back and forth can bring over some concrete that we need for the thumper. That way when we are ready with the LEDs and the energy pod 3s, we can very easily bring them over and just have that thumper crafted. We also need to bring resin over. That's going to be sort of an issue. We haven't really got a good way to get resin. We tried to get the ant launcher across over here to get the resin, but that's not really working out for us. So we might need to do something like, I don't know, maybe like launch the ants to here and then get them to walk across. It'll be a shorter distance. but we'll have to see. We do have a lot of worker ants over here, so we got to make sure that we are, like, our main goal is still to get the genes, right? Because our thing over here that requires to progress to the ion worker ants, essentially, we need to unlock this tier 2 inventor ant thing, which requires 10 genes or whatever diamond research points. So let's start working on our energy thing. So we've just unlocked a new production building called the Energy Collider that doesn't require anything crazy to build. So let's just put one down somewhere. We'll probably use the workers on this side as a test and see just what exactly this thing can do. So obviously it's fused to Energy Pod 2 and it takes 2 Energy Pod 1s. Okay, fantastic. That's pretty much exactly what I expected it to do. So which stockpile should we take that out of? Let's have a look at our stockpiles and what they're being used for. This one looks like it's being used for absolutely nothing. So why don't we just use that one then? So it needs 2 energy pods and then it will do its thing. Let's just start with 1 because I don't know how much we need of this. Maybe this will just produce stupid amounts of energy pod 2s. I don't know how long it takes. The game really doesn't give you much information about this sort of stuff, but we'll just set it up with a basic one. Get a hauling trail. Let's get one of these ants out here. Get rid of this fabric. We'll change this to store energy orb 2s now. Get rid of that fabric. And then hopefully this ant will go and do its thing. It takes not very long to collide them. And hey, look at this cool animation. It throws the energy orbs in there and then it becomes an energy orb 2. Amazing. Very good. So we need to make 50 of these to unlock the next thing. So that'll just slowly do its thing. We will put a little counter gate over here to get them automatically doing that. Just want one dude basically. And you can go and do that for now. We'll just have a little temporary setup and see how fast this goes. I mean, essentially with energy orb 2s, we can expand our queen's ability to get to like stage 11 and whatever and get even more lava rate out, but we don't really need that at the moment. I think while that's being made, we should focus our energy on trying to get our ants over to this side and making or grabbing these things. I don't know what is the best way to do this. It's a very interesting question. There's a couple of things that I was thinking, like if we don't want to waste workers, like we can obviously send our iron workers across here and then eventually they'll do their thing. But I feel like that's a little bit of a waste of workers. So what I'm thinking is, why don't we try using our pod workers on this island? Because a pod worker can cut stuff, right? Let's have a look at our pod workers. They can do plant cutting. So if we send a fixed amount of pod workers to this side of the island, like say 5 pod workers, we can keep those 5 pod workers completely alive throughout the entire process by sending them into a combiner, right? Or a fabricator. Assembler, sorry. If we put them into an assembler, then they can continuously make stuff. All we need to do is send a continual stream of energy pod 1s and then they will stay alive forever, essentially. And then they will continuously provide resin. As they harvest out these resin, we can move them around to other places. Alternatively, we can just set up a proper setup out here. Let's think about a proper setup. If we get drones starting to transport ants out into this island and doing an actual setup, eventually we want digger ants. Not cutting this thing, but digger ants cutting these ancient machinery that gives us scrap gold and stuff like that. That's another thing that we need to consider. So let's also have a look at, I think LEDs is another thing that we need to make. And we can already make that and it's made in a factory. I think we've brought enough resin over here to make a factory. A factory is the largest of the production buildings. It features 3 inputs to accommodate recipes requiring 3 distinct ingredients. So obviously the LEDs is going to be a pain in the butt. We've got 3 different inputs for 3 different things over here. Oh god. And then, wait, how would we even set this up? This is going to be a whole thing on its own. So we got diodes, we've got light bulbs, and we've got, it requires resin. Great. So the resin is definitely going to be a challenge. We don't need gold yet, so maybe we just send some ants over here to start cutting resin. And I feel like it's a little bit scary because there's not really that much resin on this entire island. Are these resin? No, they're just plants. We have a very limited amount of resin on this planet. On this island, I should say. They definitely don't come out of any of these ancient machineries. They don't come out of anything. There's no resin trees. It's just literally this stuff on the ground, which makes it a big pain to collect. I think we go with our pod worker plan then, in that case, for now, and then later on we can get rid of the pod workers and replace them with other stuff. So we really need a assembler on the other side. So let me just put down an assembler anywhere, and let's get those materials transported to the other side of the world first. So we need more iron plate, more screws, and more fabric. That's not a problem at all. So we've got a bunch of ants over here not doing anything. We'll send them out. Get a counter gate out of here. Set that to like 2 because once they cross the bridge, they're going to disappear. We'll get a null trail going out here. Or should we... Let me just think about this for a second. Should we just get the drones to do this transport? Let me figure out the best way, and when I've set it up, I will come and talk about it. We might need to do a big overhaul over here. Let's give this system a go. So if you recall, before we had a divider trail over here, splitting our iron worker ants out of here and here to proportionally create the number of drones that we need to support this. But if you think about it, that's kind of a waste because we've got all these drones over here that are fresh and not doing anything. So why don't we utilize those drones? So I've changed this 3-2 split because we need a 3-2 split so that we get the proportional amount of drones to iron workers, which doesn't even seem to be happening correctly at the moment. But that's fine, that should even out over time. Now, with that 3-2 split, what we're going to do is we're going to split the 3 old iron worker ants out here. They're going to go over here into the gene cocoon. The other 2 are going to go become drones. But instead of immediately going to the gene cocoon, they're going to go do some work, get old and die. So they're going to come out, they're going to go into this launch pad, which I haven't assigned a target for, over here. They're going to grab some stuff that I need to bring to the jungle island, and they're going to drop it off into that storage. Then they're going to immediately fly back, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're going to get rid of this resin thing at the moment. They're going to drop off their thing, and then they're going to go to the resin thing. This is a little bit tight, but let me sort this out properly. They're going to first come in, and they're going to drop off their stuff first. And then before they fly back, I want them to grab some resin and bring it back. Not that we have resin at the moment to grab, but that should be fine. Now they're going to bring in the materials required to finish off this assembler, which we're going to go use for our pod workers when we have pod workers on this side of them. For now, we're just going to leave it at that. We're going to test this system and see if it works. Now this energy collider thing seems to be working, and they're slowly making energy orb 2s. And once we are ready for usage of this, then we can add it. But at the moment, I have way too many ants that I don't even know what to do with at the moment. I think I have too many ants. Can't really tell at the moment. Yeah, we throttled down the speed of this larvae production because we were having too many ants. This looks perfect. There we go. Our first drone just got made, and it just grabbed something and brought it over. I'm going to get rid of this now because I literally only needed 1 iron plate on this side of the world. And the iron plate is now done. And next thing we need to bring is screws. So I'm going to grab my screw dispenser, which is over here. And we're going to replace that with a screw dispenser so we can start bringing the 10 screws that we need to that side of the island. Oh, it actually brought back a resin. Amazing. So we can test the full cycle if it works. Now, the cool thing about this trail is now when they're old and they finish bringing stuff back, they're going to go into this old gate, and they're going to go into another launch pad, which we haven't assigned the target for, but they're going to land right here. And then the oldest of the drones are going to go into here to form the cocoon. As we can see over here, we've got everything. So we've got to make sure our princess is coming out. Now we've set these timer gates really high at the moment. So I want to lower these to like every 5 minutes. Just so that we can get the correct amount of things that we need. So we'll do it every 5 minutes just to make sure we always have enough people going into here. Might just send one of these old drones out there for now. Just get a princess going manually, and then the system should be okay. Now I know this thing is a little bit inefficient because I'm sending a brand new drone. I should really send an old drone out, but there's no way for me to control the volume of old drones. Like I need an old gate and a timer gate or something, but I haven't even recycled these old drones yet, so yeah. Alright, let's monitor if this system is working okay. It looks like screws are making their way over now. This guy is bringing our first screw over. Oh, but we haven't assigned this to screw, so it doesn't know to drop that off. There we go. More screws are coming over now. They're going to grab their resin and they're going to go across. I'm going to keep the nuptial flight timer on so I can see how many of these I can actually make. Now I know these guys are dying at the moment because we haven't sent enough. I might just send off this nuptial flight manually first, because what are they missing? 2 iron workers and 7 regular workers. Do we just not have enough regular workers dying over here? I feel like we don't have enough regular workers going into here. But we have so many regular workers out here. How is that not enough? It might just be a timing issue. So I'm just going to send them off because we've got so many of these dudes and they're about to die. Do we have another princess ready to go? Yeah, one's being made. How many more do we need? We need 3 or 4 more. I'll just take all of you then. And you can go here. It's very hard to get them to go here. We've got to balance this out. We're still trying to balance out gene cocoon automation, but essentially we've got it. We need 1 more and 1 more iron worker. So we'll just grab 1 more and we'll just pull 1 iron worker out. Oh, well, one's coming. So that should get that going, hopefully before these guys all die. Don't want to waste my light bulbs. So we'll just send them back to get another energy orb. Now these guys, this thing's, they're not doing anything. We've got to make sure we get the right stockpiles going. So I've got to fix this thing up as well. Mine out the rest of this crap. I just set up my old gate over here somewhere. And then we just get an elder trail back here temporarily. These guys have almost finished mining out all this crap here, giving me a lot more building space. That's their point. Now I'm just going to temporarily give these guys some stockpile to work on because I got to get rid of some of my old scrap. And yes, our new gene has been created and our new princess is coming over. Just got to manually do some of this stuff. I'm just trying to sort out my gene cocoon before I do all of this stuff. Make sure we got way too many pod worker 2s and we need some more pod worker 1s. Which one of these makes pod worker 1s? It's that one. So we'll get them to go over here and into this trail. All right, that gene is going in and now all of our workers are following suit. Hopefully we've got everything in good balance now. I know we have way too many pod workers, but we have reduced the amount of people on this trail or ants on this trail so that we should get less. How's our transport going? We've got all the screws that we need. We just need some fabric now. So let's get some fabric stored over. A little bit of a manual process at the start of this episode, but once we get everything sorted, it should all be automated. Put a fabric dispenser here now, and then we will change this to be fabric. There's a bunch of screws over here, which is kind of useful, so we'll leave that. Get ourselves a new storage or stockpile, and that will be accepting fabric only, and that way they will do their thing. Now, as these die, they will be sent over to become gene cocoon material. And our gene cocoon material is looking good at the moment. Still got way too many pod workers relative to everything else, but that's okay. Hopefully that'll all even itself out. We might need to reduce this to like 2. Not to mention this stockpile isn't actually going anywhere. But that's fine. We can have extra energy colliders and stuff to make energy orb 2s, but like right now I don't really have any use for energy orb 2s either. So we're just gonna focus on getting our resin. We're almost done with this. Just did some random reorganizing and balancing work around the base while I've been waiting, but we're pretty much at our 20 fabric mark, so we can look at sending over some of our ants over here to become pod workers and start cutting down some of the resin. So how are we going to do this? We will do it manually, I guess. So we've got too many pod workers over here. Let's just send these 2 over first. We'll get them to walk across this bridge. Hopefully they don't die while they walk. While we're doing that, we can change this thing to use some of the stockpile stuff from here and start bringing over the energy orbs that we need for this process. So we will move this thing over here and then we'll put a new stockpile down here for energy orbs. We need a constant stream of energy orbs to keep our pod workers alive. Or we might need to get this over here first to get rid of the residual fabric. There's a bunch of ants over here bringing over fabric. Where's my little pod worker? It's heading over. Great. My other pod worker should be ready very soon. It's over here. We'll send this one over as well. And we'll just start with 2 pod workers. We can send more over as they become available. I think once again, we've got all the pod workers here. We'll just send all the excess ones from this process over for now. Still trying to balance everything slowly. Oh, there we go. That's all balanced. So now we can get our energy pod storage over here. And I'm just going to move this thing as I need it, but basically the energy storage thing will go here. Come on. And then we're going to get this to assemble pod worker once. Here's our first pod worker coming across. How much life does he have left? 3 minutes. Fantastic. This one should have plenty of life, but essentially once they come over, we want them to walk over to this side and start heading over to this trail over here. I'm going to set up this trail now. I want to focus it on making resin, so I'm going to just delete some of the non-resin plants around the area because we know they get in the way. So delete that one, delete that one, delete that one, and I might be deleting like 10,000 fiber, but I don't feel like I need all that fiber, and the fiber just sort of gets in the way. Delete all the fiber trees around my resin trees. Probably won't delete this big one, but that should be enough. Let's make a small trail over here. Oh, there's still one more. This little fiber tree hiding here. So we get a plant cutting trail that goes through each of these resin plants. We will slowly start harvesting the resin out of there. We do need both storages for fiber and for resin, and then we can get our null trail going in here. Now, the thing I don't like about this is that it's still rather manual to do this, but it's all right. We'll have to do that for now. So this thing is going to go over here somewhere like this. And essentially we want a cast gate. So you don't need an old gate for these guys, I think. The way you can do this is just by using a cast gate. So they can harvest all the way until they become unpowered pod workers again, empty pod workers. And once they become empty pod workers, they can go into here to get a pod and be renewed. Why doesn't it like that? Because it's the wrong way around. So they can become a new pod worker. And once they become a new pod worker, they can go onto the trail and continue to work. In theory, that should be what it does. And we've got our second pod worker somewhere. Where's our second pod worker? Did it die? No, here we go. We've got our 2 pod workers now. They should be now harvesting resin. Let's see if that works. Here they go. They're going to grab a resin out of the tree. Fantastic. And they're going to go do their thing until they become these empty pod workers, and then they should go into here and they should get renewed. Now we've got so many energy pods over here, but that's fine because we need to bring the resin back. But what happens when this thing is going to get full? This thing's going to get full really quickly because it's not an even amount of resin to pod things. Oh god. How do I tell it to just bring a small amount of these over and not like infinite amounts of this? Oh, do we have to just control this manually? I have no idea. We'll change it to screws at some point because we want digger ants on this platform at some point. All right, we'll let that keep running. We have to keep observing our cocoon thing and seeing what the issue is. And definitely, I think this thing's automation is hingent on this thing at the moment. Hey, check it out. We've got one of our old dudes coming over. Let's see if it's enough time for it to make it. Yeah, it looks like it's plenty time for it to make it. And we've got an extra gene. All right, cool. So with that extra gene, now we can adjust this timer because this is almost about to send another inventor ant over, which is fine. We can just have extra genes. We'll send it maybe every 10 minutes now that we have plenty of extra genes. So we need to do something about these guys because we're not getting enough of these guys in here, I think, is one of the issues. What are you doing? Why are you guys not making this? This has no items in it anymore. All right, let's get rid of some of these excess storages that just are empty now. How many more of these do I have? We can get our recycling process in as well. Still a bit of manual work to do for now, but that's fine. Once all this manual work is done, then we can get everything fully automated. They've grabbed this last stockpile. We've got one more stockpile to get rid of. Scrap pile, sorry. So just get that going like this for now. Oh, we got way too many iron worker ants. All right, so given this is an issue, we should probably not turn all of our ants over here into iron worker ants. Some of them should be turned into regular worker ants to feed this. Because we got way too many iron worker ants. As we can see from here, we've got 11 iron workers on here, and we don't need that many. So let me redo this trail. It's just all a big balancing act at that point until we get a very smooth gene creation process, essentially. So here's the modified setup that I'm going to try. I've moved the old gate back here and I put it through this divider. So some of these can become iron worker ants, 2/3 of them, and 1/3 of them can go over here and become regular workers because that's the one that we're missing. So we can just get another trail out here to basically get them to become regular workers, and they're going to follow this path over here. Now we've got too many genes and pod workers and everything, so we're all good. We can send more pod workers to get resin if we want to, but I think 2 pod workers grabbing resin is more than enough. We don't need to go crazy. They've pretty much already harvested out all of these resin plants. We can optimize the trail for them a little bit more if we wanted to. Now these workers need something to do, because they've got like nothing to do essentially. We're just sending brand new workers into this gene cocoon at the moment, but we'll let that happen until that evens out, because at the moment everything's a little bit uneven. We've still got way too many of these dudes, so we might send them off into doing this process. Now this process is going to be a little bit interesting. We're going to get them to make LED lights, and I guess we'll just put it anywhere, doesn't really matter. Oh, an old iron worker ant. You get back, you get to that old trail. So how do we do this? This is an interesting one because it needs diodes, light bulbs, and resin. So we need to set that up to allow it to do that. I've got too many ants on this trail now. Oh man, so many issues. Too many ants is an issue. Too many ants, not enough stuff to do. And that's why we need to rework some of these iron workers, because we're getting way too many iron workers. In fact, we'll just let some of them die. But we'll let them harvest out this scrap pile first, and we'll figure out how to do this. So I'm gonna set this up now while we're waiting for everything. We're also getting way too much energy over here. So we might change this. Oh man, there's so much manual work to be done at the moment. It's a little bit annoying. I'm just gonna stop this process for now because I can't deal with it right now. Don't want you to keep transporting energy orbs. More important that you transport things back. So do we need 3 workers? 1 to do each one of these? Or how does this work? Can we get 1 worker to do all 3 of these? Let's just give ourselves a little bit of room to work, because there's not enough room anywhere. So let's figure out how to do this trail. So obviously we need the inputs for this stuff. So let's find our diodes. We're not making diodes either, so we can have an ant doing that at some point. So we'll put a dispenser here for diodes. Put a dispenser for light bulbs and 1 for resin. Now there's 3 inputs. Do they have to input from the same spot, or can they just input from anywhere? That's the question. Can we just grab 1 of each and then make it? In which case it would look something like a divider trail. We'll just test it out and see. So from here, it's going to pick 1 of these 3 trails. And once it's done, we want you to haul it back to somewhere. Something like that. Oh man, there's like a little fiber over here as well. Annoying. Come grab this fiber. It won't pick up the fiber. Yeah, you can join this party over here. We get a hauling trail over here, and then back into the divider, and then we just join it like this. It's kind of like a reverse version of what we normally do. In theory, it should just grab 1 of each and drop it into here, and then it'll make it. And then why is the exit out over here? What? This is so different. I need to send an ant over here to see what it does, because this building seems to function completely differently to what you normally expect. So we've got all our ants in here except for the drones and the workers. So it's going to drop off 1 of its items, go to the next one and grab it and drop it off. Oh, it didn't drop it off. Okay, so basically each one can only accept 1 item. Whoa, so does that mean we need all these different trails? Oh man, this thing is super complicated. So it needs to go to the next one. Now, of course, I can just make 3 separate trails to go into each one of these, but I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea because it just seems so dumb. We've got to think of a pattern that can solve for multiple inputs into a single machine, because that same concept applies to the facility as well, I think. Well, I had a facility somewhere to make diodes. We have to solve for the fact that the ant can it's not necessarily going to just drop 1 of each item. It might just end up doing loops and screw with this divider. So let's do the dumbest solution first and see what that looks like. If we get rid of all of these, and then we just get this ant to go and drop off its thing here, and then we'll grab its, wait, which is the 3rd item? So it's got a thing, it needs a light bulb. So we'll grab a light bulb, and I just want to see what it looks like when it actually makes an item, because it looks very different. So that goes in. So the facility works on its own, and then you need to grab an item, and it takes 30 seconds. And while that's happening, can you load more stuff into here? No. So basically, after it loads the 3 items in, the ant needs to go over here and wait. Oh, dude. That's super annoying. What the heck? So if we put our 3 things over here, for example, get this ant out of the way. And we'll just get it to drop its diode or whatever. Here's the dumbest version of that trail. What the heck? So basically we need a divider that goes and picks up these items and then drops it off into each one of these holes. So it needs to go here, drop it off, and then back into some sort of divider. It needs to go here, drop it off, and then back into some sort of divider. Then it needs to go here, drop it off. Oh, sorry. Grab something from here, drop it off, and then back into some sort of divider. Right? And then this divider needs to then go here, then here, then here. Oh, I can't even draw it in there. Like that. Then it needs to go out. What the heck is this? And then it needs to go out here onto the fourth trail and then go wait here until the item exists. So it needs a hauling trail to sort of run around in circles, and then it goes through a pre-gate and goes, all right, cool. I've got my LED now and I can go store that into a stockpile. And then once you're done with that, you can go back into here and in a null trail so it doesn't accidentally pick something up. This is the trail you need to make a facility work, apparently. So at the moment, the ant should be here. Let's test if this works. The ant should be running around here waiting for an item, basically. I mean, we've automated it, haven't we? Oh, it just sits here. Nice. We don't even need a thing. So it'll just sit here while this is crafting. So we don't need this complex system. We can just get it to null trail its way over here, and then it can just grab its thing over here. Let's uncomplicate things where we can, because this process is already super complicated, and then can null trail its way back up into the divider. Like that. This is building a test trail for it to work. But now, what the heck? I just want to make sure this even works. All right, we've got our first LED ever, guys. Now it's going to go back up and it's going to go through the divider. Let's see if this system works. It's going to go over here, grab a thing, and then drop it off. What? Okay, well that interfered with everything. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's get him back on this trail. That is not what I wanted it to do. Oh, what the heck? What have I done? Let's go back into the divider. It's gonna go over to this one now. Grab that thing. Now it's got, it needs a light bulb. Which one's the light bulb? That's this one. Let's just get it set correctly first, and then we'll, we don't want you to grab that. We want you to grab the light bulb. But then the light bulb went into the wrong input. Are these all fixed inputs? I need you on this input now. Something's going on with this, because it's not going straight into this input. Let me redo this trail. We'll just manually set it in for now. And then now it's crafting its thing. You can go and wait for it. All right, let's try to redo these trails a bit better. This whole episode is just gonna be how to make an LED. I'm just trying to find a good central point to even send the ant. Can we just do a singular trail without it doing anything? So after it grabs its thing, it goes over here, and then it grabs this thing, puts it in there, then it just grabs this thing and puts it in there, and then grabs this thing and puts it in there, and then just goes and waits for an output. Did we just overcomplicate this thing? It's just meant to run circles around the facility? Is that how it's meant to work? Let's see if that works. Right, before we just sit there waiting for 30 seconds at a time, let me just check on all my other stuff. I've sent a couple of extra pod workers to this side of the island to continue the resin harvesting, and I noticed one big issue. One of my pod workers died over here and I had to send new ones over, but it was because we were lacking a trash can on this side. The pod worker must have had an item and just waited over here and eventually died and not gotten renewed. But we fixed that problem now, so we can look at this guy. This little guy is going to come out and he's going to get renewed and get back into cutting the resin. Fantastic. I've also fixed this. I don't know why. We need some sort of like fail-safe in between each of these so that if it picks up the item and for some reason doesn't drop it off, and I don't know why it would ever do that, maybe we need to move some of these a little bit out a bit so it definitely picks it up first before it drops it off. But we're automating our LED lights, which is fantastic. Let's check in on our thumper. Our thumper is slowly doing stuff. We still haven't gotten a single wire yet. Why is that? You are dispensing rocks. You are making wire. Oh. Because you're not accepting wire. Silly. There we go. Now you're accepting wire. I don't know why there's 2 ants on this trail, but whatever. That's fine. How's our energy orb collection trail going? Seems to be fine. All our energy orbs have been transported back to... Whoa. What's going on over here? Ah, this thing is full, I think. So the old ants aren't dying. And it's screwing with my energy orb stuff. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, let me fix this up. Alright, so I've set a trail so that we can start emptying out this recycler. So over here, we're going to grab the stuff out of the recycler, and hopefully these guys can now... Yep, they're going and getting recycled. We've got a fabric storage and another iron scrap storage, and now these guys can continue on grabbing energy orb 2s. Not that we're started using our energy orb 2s yet. I still don't see any need for expansion until I get this system stabilized. It looks like it's already made a 2nd gene, and it's well on the way to the 3rd gene, and it looks like the numbers are balancing out a lot better now. Check it out. So now we're in 31 minutes and we've already created 2 genes, so that system is going fantastic. We've got the workers over here. We've got a couple more spare workers over here, so let's just set up the diode making process because we don't have one at the moment. And in terms of this stockpile, we should probably get that into the main stockpile so that we can continue. Now we're finally using the stockpile that's mining out of an iron deposit, now that we've gotten rid of our temporary scrap ones. And now we can also set up our old trails. Now this 1 ant over here being old, oh man, I have to set up an old trail for like literally 1 ant. But that's fine, we'll set it all up together. What's going on over here? I got some exclamation marks going, don't like that. We've run out of glass. We've run out of glass because there's literally no more glass shards on this island. Let me resolve that first, I guess. You are getting glass, and you're not storing the glass shards anywhere. What? What is going on? What have I done? I've done something so stupid. This guy has no more glass because the stockpile that was storing the glass shards was never moved when I moved the trail. Of course it wasn't. There we go. These iron digger ants have been digging nothing this whole time. Fantastic. And we're also not getting whatever this is. This is the dying digger ants trail. Okay, that's fine. We can now connect that to this new stockpile that we have for iron scrap so that we can repurpose some of these. Let me try to move that a little bit out of the way and then move that one in as well. So we can grab iron scrap from either one of these piles. Hopefully. There we go. We gotta go. Fantastic. It'll start making screws again, and then we should be able to get plenty of screws to make more digger ants. We haven't run out of screws here, have we? We've got 85 screws. Fantastic. Alright, we are all going pretty well at the moment. Now we're getting some resin out of here, and they are hopefully transporting resin. Let me make sure that some resin is getting through. Yep, check it out. We've got 17 resin over here. We're well on our way. We're getting our wires. Now we just need to transport these and energy pod 3s. Let's go have a look. We've definitely made 50 energy pods 2 over here now. Over here, energy collision, and now we can unlock energy pod 3, which requires another 3 genes. Oh my god. All right, well, I guess that's what's happening next, but we need to wait for our next nuptial flight. Let's see if we can't get more than 3 genes after this next nuptial flight. What else can we do? What were we doing? We were going to create another thing over here that does stuff. So let me do that. We've got plenty of iron plates, so let's make some more flooring out here. And then we'll make another system over here that deals with the resin. So in our production, we have our factory, but we need a facility. Now, facility is another very interesting thing because we've just gotten it to grab things from dispensers and put it into here, right? But how do you make sure that it definitely gets one of each? Definitely gets 1 wire and definitely gets 1 screw and puts it in there. While the dispensers aren't empty, our little divider trail works perfectly fine. So it's going to go from here into one and then into the other. So something like this. And then if we go to our wire section, we can bring that over into here like such. And then we can get our screws. And we can also bring that into here like such. And then once they pick that up, we can haul it back over here, right? And then they can go back into the divider and then pick up the next item. In theory, that should work. But how do you extend this setup to multiple things and make sure every divider is correctly grabbing one of each item every time? I guess we don't have to worry about that until we actually have multiple things that we need to deal with. Let's get ourselves another counter gate out this way. We can cut this trail, get this one going to here, and then we'll get this one going to here, into that divider first, so it can pick which item it gets. The time it gets confused is when an ant dies and then the next ant comes, and then the divider might be pointing to the wrong one. But again, we'll monitor this system as it goes. We need some old gates out of here because, let's be real, they're gonna have issues. So I'm gonna get an old gate out of here. Now we need our stockpile over here. So once it finishes crafting, then it drops off the thing before it goes into one of either of these. All right, let me redo this trail. This is not the right way to do it. There we go, I fixed it. I just moved the divider out a little bit so that it basically goes into this area, and then if it has a diode, it'll drop it off before picking a divider and going out. That will be fine. Let's get a thing into there, and then we're gonna get an old gate out of here somehow. Probably through here. Can't get it through there. Get an old gate out this way then. And then we'll just get these guys onto this trail, one of these elder trails. And similarly with the old gate over here, we just get it onto any one of these trails. It's fine. The trails are still going to be a little bit messy before all this crap gets mined out. And we should be good. Now we're almost ready for the next nuptial flight. We've got a bunch of extra ants over here that we've got nothing to do with. I guess they can make more Energy Orb 2s, because let's have a look. This guy's been making Energy Orb 2s out of that one stockpile that entire time. Which stockpile is it linked to? Let's have a look. It's been converting the ones out of this stockpile, and this stockpile doesn't do anything but convert to Energy Orb 2s, but we can very clearly see that there is plenty of Energy Orb 2s. Well, there's still a full stockpile of Energy Orb 1s, so one of these colliders is definitely not enough, and we have extra worker bee ants, so why not? Let's make more. Does the Energy Collider itself cost a lot of stuff? Nothing that we can't afford. Glass is kind of an issue, but it's fine. Let's just add a second one. Remember, we're gonna add things a little bit at a time so that we don't go too crazy with stuff. So this is a thing. We can treat this like a normal trail. Oh, can we treat this like a normal trail? Because this is like a multi-to-one sort of deal. No, we can't treat this like a regular trail. I'm gonna have to build the thing where it does it like our multi-item trails. So we'll have to set up some floor tiles, and we're gonna have to do this properly. Running out of floor tiles, but that's okay. Just gonna move these back out a bit to maybe here. And then just in case we want to put more later, because it seems like we can support a lot more of these, should be able to put one of these facing outwards like that, and put it here maybe. Then we'll get another one going over here. Now we really have a lot of Energy Orb 2s. So we can probably start thinking about using these Energy Orb 2s for something. And, oh, well look, our queen is now at stage 9, so we should definitely use it to maintain stage 10 a lot more cleanly. So essentially we're going to make our little triangle the same way we do our fabricator things. This and this is looking a little bit different. I want to keep it consistent, that way we can expand upon it easily later. We definitely need a carry gate. So we'll get a carry gate going out this way for each one. These are going to be set to Energy Orb 2s if they're finished crafting. Then from the carry gate, we need to send them out into an exit point. So that's going to be a hauling gate. It's not going to grab one of these, is it? Okay, maybe the carry gate needs to be facing the other way. Let me fix this. We don't want it to grab another one off this thing. This is how we normally do the trails. So we get the carry gate going that way so it doesn't pick something up off the dispenser again. Set that to Energy Orb 2s. Then we can get this guy hauling it out. It still thinks it's grabbing it over there, but no, it shouldn't matter. So we get them going out, and then we get them going out to some central point to drop off the item into the storage, which is going to be here. Get this ant out of the way a bit. There we go. And now we need to get that back into a counter trail. So over here, and then we get counter gates to go 1 and 2. Get you in here. There's one. Now the trail that sends ants over here is this trail. So we will send a new trail over here and get this ant on it. Fantastic. That is now working, and they should be working in parallel to make Energy Orb 2s. And we're going to send this Energy Orb 2 to permanently feed this thing. So we'll get rid of one of these. Which one should we get rid of? That one's always empty anyway, so we'll get rid of that one. And then we'll get Energy Orb 2s coming out here. Fantastic. And now we have one set of ants always feeding Energy Orb 2s until they run out, and then they'll use the Energy Orb 1s. That shouldn't be an issue at all. We need an old gate out of here as well, because there's so many ants here now, so we can't rely on the fact that they will, well, we need to utilize the 2 ants here. Otherwise, we're going to just start bleeding ants one at a time. Get that back into here. Oops. Get an elder trail going. And that way we should get more ants going. Okay, how's our ratio going now? Now we're getting less iron workers. Oh, not enough iron workers and too many worker ants. Man, this balance is really, really hard. But is that because we accidentally screwed around with the iron workers too much, or is it because legitimately with this divide it's not good enough? Let's just let it run for a little bit and let's just observe. Because we're not wasting any iron workers, are we? I don't think so. I think all our operations are going pretty sweet at the moment. Let's see if they're done with the resin. 22. How much more resin do you have to dispense? Oh, these guys are dropping off all the Energy Orb 2s. Our Energy Orb 2 stockpile is full. Amazing. That's why they're not bringing anything. Let's get a new stockpile in. There's no harm in having too many Energy Orb 2 stockpiles here, because we're definitely going to need the Energy Orb 2s. We're going to turn them into Energy Orb 3s at some point, right? But we're waiting for a nuptial flight, and we're waiting for more iron workers. Looks like the drop off of these guys is working well, because now we don't have enough of these guys, which is good. Because we definitely don't want to be wasting all that Energy Orb 2s and stuff. Let's check on our pod workers on this side, whether they're collecting resin. I think they're done with their resin collection. So I'm going to move this trail now to collect some more resin. This trail is super annoying to edit every single time. We'll do this trail over here. We'll get these guys on this trail. Move these things over. Got to get that resin continuing on. Very valuable resin. All right. Oh, we don't need old gates. We need this cast gate. Got to move this very, very carefully. Move this cast gate onto here. And that should be okay. We got to get the null trail back into here, basically. Yep, I think that's all good. Let's just observe it, make sure it is indeed good. Should be getting more resin now. Resin should be slowly being transported to our 3rd island. Genes should be slowly being created reasonably well. Let's see what we have too many of. We have too many drones, too many worker ants. All right. We definitely should divide this one more time, maybe. So we can adjust this divider to distribute these ants better. Now we're well into stage 10 with all those energy pod 2s. So that's pretty crazy. Oh, look how fast they drained it. Gone. So we're eating a sort of combination of energy pod 2s and 1s. But that's okay. We're well maintaining stage 10 at the moment. And we've got all our trails full, or most of our trails full. All of these trails are happy. Yep. Amazing. Everything's sort of in balance. We're just waiting at the moment. Let's get the recycling process put in while we're waiting, I guess. So one of the big wastages that's happening is on this side of the world. So let's trace these trails. Eventually everything is getting turned into these guys that are ferrying things back and forth, but we should definitely optimize this. So after they drop off their stuff, they should come out of an old gate and get recycled. Well, this elder trail doesn't come out of there. Can I move these stockpiles a little bit out of the way? Give a little room for this old gate. So we'll get an elder trail coming out of here, and they can just walk over a little bit and then go get recycled. I just want to put my recycler somewhere central so that they can all be recycled. So over here, they're going to go in and get recycled. And then we need a trail over here dealing with the recycled components. What else can be recycled? So these guys over here will get recycled because they fly over to this side, do their work, and then they fly over to this side and get recycled there. So we only need to worry about the drones over here getting recycled. Fantastic. Well, we've got way too many of these drones. So now that they are getting recycled, we should send one off every now and then into here. So instead of it being sent over here and queuing like this, we can send these guys back to help with the carrying of things, I guess. We can get rid of this trail and we can get them off the old gate using a timer. So we'll go every 5 minutes, you can send off one of these dudes. 10 minutes is it? Okay, 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, you can send off one of these dudes to become a princess. Now we need a trail for the recycler, and we've got a bunch of ants over here doing nothing, so I guess we can just use you guys. Or is there a better trail of ants I can use? Is there any extra ants somewhere else I can use? Not over here. Yeah, we'll probably just use these ants for the time being. We'll amend this later. We'll just send one ant up, and we'll make a recycling track for this. So they'll just go up here, they'll haul some materials, and then they'll come back and drop them off. Now we need a bunch of storages for this, so I'm just going to drop 3 storages, and then they can just store whatever. 1, I have to build this where there's absolutely no room. 2, and then just 3. Stockpiles there. And you know what, just to be super efficient, when you're done, you can just go recycle yourself. There we go. There's a temporary recycling process going over here. That'll optimize that a little bit. And we've got 25 minutes until our next nuptial flight. So I'm just going to observe things and see how many more of these genes we can squeeze out in 1 hour. At the moment, iron worker ants is a little bit of an issue. So we can just grab some manually and start the next gene process. But there's no point doing that. We'll just wait. We'll let these guys die and even out. Why am I getting... I'm getting fresh dudes over here doing nothing. But that's fine. We can eventually figure out a purpose for them. I mean, we're going to need more energy colliders and stuff. It looks like 2 energy colliders isn't enough to sustain our queen continuously. Our queen is a hungry woman and it needs a lot more food than we're giving it. And we've got plenty of energy pod 1s, so we can just make more and more of these energy colliders if we need work for our dudes. But I don't think we do at the moment. How's our light bulb situation? We've got our 11 light bulbs. Fantastic. And this guy is confused because it grabbed too many things. And once again, what does it have in its hand? I have no idea, but we need more stockpiles to have a catch-all for this situation. So we put stockpiles here behind everything. This is definitely not the right way to do it. Someone must be watching me in the comment section going, what the heck are you doing? But these stockpiles will be a catch-all. That way it can keep going around in circles doing stuff, right? It'll go here, and if it's not holding something, it's all happy. If it is holding something, then it's not happy. There, drop the 3 things, and then it goes around, and then it waits over here. I feel like it didn't wait last time. For some reason, there was an LED thing, and it kept going. You know what happened? It's because it must have died while it was waiting, and then another dude came out, grabbed the thing, and then it was like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, cool. So that would work. We've got to make sure these stockpiles are stocking this stuff. So that's the resin. That is the light bulb, and that is a light bulb, and that is a diode, and that should be a diode if that ever comes to that. Now we've got our light bulbs. I'm going to put a dispenser onto this side, get ready for transport of the light bulbs when the resin is done. I don't want to send too much resin to this side of the world because resin is rare, and I've already sent too much resin. We've got 13 extra resin on this side, so we're going to start sending light bulbs. Get rid of this. We don't need a resin dispenser. We start sending our light bulbs over to the other side of the world. Here comes our first LED. Look at that. It looks very much like an LED. Whoa. Put that thing in the wrong spot. Get back in there. Our first LED, fantastic. And then it's going into our thumper. Check it out. Our thumper has all the iron, all the copper, all the concrete, all this stuff. We're still making wire. We might need to send some wire once the LEDs are done, but that's fine. We can do that. How's our wire production going over here? Yeah, you're just making wire as fast as you can. Takes a while. That's fine. How's our little drones over here? I can see there's still 3 of these pod workers over here. Fantastic. We're not running out of energy orbs. We've got 57 energy orbs. I wish there was a warning system that tells me that I'm running out of energy orbs, but that should be fine. These guys are bringing back any resin that they're harvesting. Are we done with the resin on these trees? Feel like we're done. These guys aren't picking up any more resin. All right, let me amend this trail once again. This resin thing is the most manual thing I've ever done. It's super annoying. Oh man, there's so much fiber on this trail as well. Screw it, just grab all this fiber then. I just have to keep moving this stuff around forever. Gotta move this cascade so I don't have to redo it myself. Oh god, it won't even let me move the cascade. This is such a mission. Go into there, but not directly. Oh no, I screwed it up. Oh man, this is so hard to do. Quality of life features, please. Cascade over here. Make sure I do this correct because I don't want the 3 ants over here dying because they're gonna stay alive here forever. Oops, did that wrong. We want empty pod workers, and then I just want my 3 pod workers over here. This guy as well. And then we can get a null trail from here back into this trail. And then this will just happen forever. These 3 workers are just going to keep working for me for the rest of their lives, which is infinite. We're going. Our nuptial flight is happening soon. How are we doing over here? We need 1 more iron worker, which shouldn't take long. And all of this is going all right. Now I have too many iron workers over here again, not doing anything. But we are well within stage 10 at the moment with the amount of Energy Orb 2s that we're supplying. So that's a good thing. If we need more, we can expand on top of this. Why have I not got a dude here? I've set this to 1. We need to set this to 2. That would help if we have the correct amount of workers on this area. What are you doing? You look confused. Are you making diodes? You are. Fantastic. Are you making LEDs? Yep, slowly. Fantastic. Everything's going too smoothly, guys. Everything's going way too smoothly. Now, we are short on pod workers of everything. So does that mean we need to expand on this trail? Let's put that up to 3. This trail is perfect. This trail has way too many digger ants, which isn't really a problem. Wait, why have I stopped? My digger... My digger ants have oversaturated this area and stopped going into the actual damn trails, the idiots. Well, I say the idiots. I'm the idiot. Make the loop a little bit bigger. Now, these digger ants can also go into the recycler. Do you reckon they can make it all the way to that recycler? To get me more scrap metal back? I'm not sure. This thing also doesn't have enough stuff for the fabric. Why has it done this? There we go. Make that fabric. You go there. I don't know if these digger ants can make it to the recycler. Certainly, probably not from here. So maybe we should have another recycler for these digger ants if we need more metal. Because there are a lot of digger ants here that are just dying. And we're making way too many. But we have also... here we go. Finally, we're running out of scrap iron on our entire thing. So now we can get a second trail for the digger ants to work. Literally, these are the last scrap irons I have in my whole factory, which is going to be a problem when we have iron. So we have something to do now. Let's get another digging trail happening over here. I'm just going to let the game run while I do this because there's not much else to do while we're waiting. Set up a hauling trail to a point. Get it into a divider trail. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get it into a new stockpile. And get all our hauling trails in. Like that. We'll get another trail coming out of here to go there. Where's the best place to do this? I can't get it through here without issues. So I'll get it going down along here, I guess. Just making small optimizations to our base a little bit at a time. Get 4 ants going into here, and then we'll get that going out somewhere along here, wherever there's a free path. Out this way, into this digger trail. Got to get it input into the right bit, which is into this divider. Now we can split the iron usage over here and here. Oh, this is full. What is this being used for? Everything over here. This is full. Too many screws. And it's literally just being used for plates, which is fine, I suppose. What is going on over here? Why is it doing weird stuff? What the heck? This is not the right thing that it's meant to be doing. Anyway, that's fine, whatever. It's acting weird. I really want to split these stockpiles. I put these 2 buildings too close to each other and they're all working off 1 stockpile, which is terrible. It would be good if we can get them onto 2 stockpiles, but we will make that amendment at some point. Why are you guys confused? Because I've added another thing here and there's no null trail that tells it to go past. I would love it if trails functioned properly. Would be fantastic if trails actually worked. There we go. Now we've got more iron scrap coming out. We've got way too many blocks anyway, it doesn't really matter. So we will continue to monitor this process. More importantly, have we got our 3rd gene and we're well on our way to our 4th gene, and we've got way too many workers relative to iron workers. So we definitely need to fix that up. Do we have too many drones too? Nope, we're all good on drones. We're all good on this side. We've got 3 dudes here now, saturated, fantastic, everything's going well. Now the other optimization is these worker ants aren't doing anything. So we can probably get the old worker ants out of here into the gene. Yeah, that's probably a smart idea to do. I wish these guys could get rid of all that rubble. How's our concrete going? We've got way too much concrete. A concrete block is full, that's why our rubble's not disappearing. So let's get another stockpile for concrete. So much manual work to do, but it's a good problem to have. Let's check out our thumper. It should be almost done. Yep, we've got everything except for the wire, so I'm going to just help it with some wire in case that does become our limiting factor one day. So let's grab our wire dispenser, which we have 10 billion wire of, and then we'll just shove them onto the other side of the world. Great, we've got 15 minutes to our nuptial flight. I wonder if we can get a 4th one in. Probably not, because our iron worker ratio is still wrong. So we might as well build that adjustment in over here. We've got a bunch of old workers over here that are just dying. So let's get them working properly. Get some old gates over here. After you drop off your thing, before you go back in there, we get an old gate there. We want the old gate somewhere along here before the divider. Let's see if I can weave the trail out of here. Nope. There we go. And we probably want an old gate over here just in case as well. And we'll just merge those elder trails up. Get it going out this way, I guess. Bit messy, but let's just get the old guys out. And then we want it to go into the gene. So I'm going to drag the elder trail across over here. We basically want to mix it into this elder trail. So we'll get it going into there. And then we'll just get it, do a back-de-loop-de-loop so we can drop off its rubbish over here and merge with the worker ants out of there. Then in theory, we probably don't need this anymore. Let's just get rid of this because I don't really like all my new workers just being turned into that. So let's just get them all becoming iron workers again. And again, all these iron workers are just dying, but that's fine. We'll have work for them to do one day. Our new digging trail looks good. Now we should really split this now because there's no point doing this, right? Oh man, this is gonna be such a hard split. So we want to move these back down this way, and we basically just want to move these points over to here. I wonder if I can move this without destroying anything. So I want to move that one there, that one there. Wait, what's this one? That's the entry point. Let's get rid of that. We want to move this divider over here. Oh man, I'm just gonna redo this. This is getting too complicated. This ant is confused. So get that, these 4 dividers, get that to a central point, and then move it back here. Maybe we can move this central point here so they can go to the same one. There we go. Now I'm gonna get that elder trail from, let's get the old gate coming from here. Let's see if we can fit our second stockpile dispenser out there. So our second stockpile dispenser will be here. The entry trail for this will be just there, I guess. And then we need old gates out of here. Let me just quickly redo this properly. I think it's too messy at the moment. Alright, here's our new smelting trails. It's not the most optimal in terms of length, but at least they can share a singular stockpile. It hates this. What have I done? Let me just fix this. They go the wrong way. Needed to go that way. There we go. That should work now. And they're working out of both the different dispensers. So now they should all, yeah, there we go. All 8 smelters are now online. And they're being supported by these mining trails. So that's all good. The only last inefficiency that we don't have is recycling all our digger ants. But again, we have no issues with screws or anything like that. So I don't really care about that right now. Although we could probably use some more scrap iron. So maybe we should do that. I don't know. We have too much of everything at the moment, which is a good problem to have. We might even be able to squeeze out a 4th gene before our 13-minute time mark runs out, once we can balance all this nicely. And 4 genes per hour seems to be like a decent amount for what we're currently doing. Of course, when we expand our operations, we might end up being able to make even more genes, but we'll have to wait and see. We still got way too many iron worker ants, so we can probably get a third one of these going if we want to get more food. How is the energy out of 2 going? Is 2 consuming this entire stockpile? No, it's not even budging this stockpile, literally. Like this one stockpile of 160, 2 colliders constantly making energy orbs is not even budging that. So we could probably make like even more, and we do have more worker ants for now, so I don't see why we wouldn't do that. We've got 13 minutes to kill. They don't seem to cost anything we don't have an abundance of, so might as well just make double that up again and see what happens. So we'll bring 2 more dispensers from that same area, make our little triangles, get our carry gates out. Might need to move this stockpile back a bit. I'll do that in a bit. Set our carry gates to Energy Orb 2s, and then we will grab that and bring it out with a hauling trail. Like this, like that, and then we'll get them into a central point. I'm just going to pause this while I do this. Get this out of the way a little bit. Our central point is now more along the lines of here. Let me just modify some of these trails. We'll redo the old gate in a bit. Get the output all into one point, and then we need our input. So they're going to all go across here somewhere, and then we can input using counter gates. 1, 2. That one can just go directly in for less confusion. 3. That one needs to go maybe here first, and then 1 more counter gate all the way out to this one. There we go. A bit messy, but this is the closest way you can get them going. So we'll get 4 ants into this trail, and then we'll get it into the counter, and we'll get the old gate out of here. There we go. That should now allow 4 ants to do this. We need our stockpile back in. Did that work? Monitor this, make sure this is actually working. Oh no, it sent a billion ants over. Why? Why does it think there's no ants on this trail anymore? There we go. Got to connect it to the right part of the trail so it knows how many ants there are. Yeah, that seems to be working now. We've got all 4 colliders. We'll just observe that for a bit. Yep, they're dropping their stuff off. That one's old. A new one will come and replenish it. They'll go divide themselves into each one of these 4 colliders and then continue to make stuff for us. Fantastic. Alright, our collider system is working fine. That means we got more food for our queen. We're going to maintain even higher stage 10 now, which is nice and comfortable. We need 4 more iron workers. They should be back to normal now that we've cut this trail. So once that settles itself in, we should be all good. I want to make sure these iron workers are indeed making it over. Well, they go become drones sometimes, but when they're not becoming drones, then they're going to be iron workers. We can observe over here to see what we have too many of. Obviously, we have too many worker ants at the moment, but that's going to take a bit of time to rebalance. We've definitely got enough of these guys going, the pod workers. So everything's going well. How's our thumper going? Yep, we're almost got enough wire. We're 95% of the way there. We just need the energy pods, nuptial flight, and then we're ready to make energy pod 3s. And we've got plenty of ants to do that. We've got a bunch of ants over here ready to go to turn energy 2s into energy 3s, I suppose. And then we just need 10 energy 3s and we can reveal the next island. Progress is happening. Now, there's no glass shards over here and there's no copper over here, so we've obviously got some sort of issue happening. We've got a bunch of energy pod 2s, but maybe just not transporting fast enough. We are getting copper scrap coming in. They're all transporting copper scrap and nothing is taking copper scrap. Why? That's glass, that's copper scrap. What are you transporting? Wire? Why do you have a bunch of wire in your hand? Oh, did I do something stupid over here? These are LEDs. Did I not change this to wire? I've gone insane. It's always user error. We changed it to wire, but we never told these guys to stop doing wire, so they've been picking up wire, bringing it back and forth like idiots, and not bringing back any of the actual material I need. Always user error. Alright, so we're just going to let this system run. Any issues that come up, I'll come and talk about it, but otherwise we're just going to let it run for another 10 minutes and then get this nuptial flight going. We probably need another gene tower, I just realized. Let's build one of those. Now we can support 4 gene towers per run. So I'll get that going, redo this divider. Go there, 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 and there. 2 more of these and 1 more of these. Well, that 1 more is about to come. Our ratios are looking a lot better. And our 10-minute timer seems to be okay. So if we're technically getting 4 ants per hour, then our timer should be around the 15-minute mark, but it's no harm in having too many of these guys. They're not dying. Oh, 3 minutes. Oh crap, they are dying. We might need to manually send one over if it's about to die. Let's just manually send over one iron worker. There's no harm in that. We're getting too many iron workers again. How do I send it onto the elder trail? Off you go. We made this gene a little bit too early, so it's only got 3 minutes left on its lifespan. So we've got to definitely make sure that that gene doesn't, our princess doesn't die while it's waiting for all of the other ants. What is this guy doing? Look how many of these things we have now. You're missing a resin. Because we're completely out of resin, this guy's just now taking stuff out and putting it into there. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop doing this. I don't need any more LED lights at the moment. You can just chill. It's just moving my stuff from the stockpile into these useless stockpiles. Silly. Check it out. Our lesser gene is being created and we've got a minute left on this guy. That's our 4th gene. So we're making 4 per hour, which is fantastic. Our next nuptial flight is about to start. I know there's too many workers now. That's fine. Good problem to have. But yeah, it looks like we have everything pretty well balanced nowadays. Now we've run out of resin, which tells me there's no more resin happening over here. Because this stockpile is once again full. Look how many of these fiber stockpiles I have. Like 1 billion fiber stockpiles. I don't want to use all my resin to make LEDs either, because I don't know what LEDs are used for, and they're not very useful at the moment, and we need resin at the moment. So I might just keep some of my resin here. And we'll keep this trail going, but it just won't be doing anything essentially. Still got way too many iron worker ants. How many iron worker ants we have? So whatever new processes we have, we're going to take it out of this iron worker ant trail because there's too many at the moment. Now plant cutting over here is pretty much done as well. Just move some of the stuff over here and then just move this trail over here. Cut down the rest of this fiber plant, and then we'll probably cut down the rest of this, and then everything will be happy. We've got too much fabric as well, apparently. We've got too much of everything. But I don't want to cut down all my natural resources yet, because I don't know what they're going to be used for. Now it looks a lot more balanced. We've got 4 iron workers and 5 workers, 1 of each of these, and 2 drones. Oh, good. We're getting closer to full balance, that we don't have to worry about it anymore. And we've got 5 minutes 50 to our next nuptial flight. Now I've got 2 minutes till our next nuptial flight. I might as well set up the energy colliders for our Energy Orb 3s, and we're just going to do it on this side of the world now, because we have a bunch of useless workers over here that aren't doing anything. So we'll set up a couple of colliders and get that going. Maybe do it over this side. Just 2 colliders maybe. 1, 2. And we're just going to manually make this until we get our thumper. So I'm just going to take the energy orbs out of this one and just put it over here. I'm assuming it's going to be Energy Orb 2s becomes Energy Orb 3s. That makes a lot of sense to me. If it's not that, then I'd be very, very surprised. Yeah, carry gate. Now I can't even set the carry gate yet, but that's fine. Can't get this recipe either. But we can get the carry gates out, and then we can get them back into some central points. And then they can go into another central point. And then we can get counter gates to send them back onto the trail. There we go. And then eventually we'll get a couple of ants going in here. There's no point sending them yet because there's nothing for them to do. But we got a minute till our nuptial flight. Hooray. Oh, look at this ratio. It's looking really good now. Did our princess get made? What are we missing? I feel like our princess got made. It must have, oh yeah, we got another spare princess ready to go. 16 minutes. Fantastic. Alright, it is time for our nuptial flight. We are going to fly around and hopefully get our next 4 points. Do we have enough research points? 200. Yeah, we have enough inventor points for this, so that's good. Alright, our nuptial flight is nearly done. There we go. 4 points done. Now we can get Energy Pod 3s. Fantastic. With our Energy Pod 3s active, we can now go over here and set their recipe to make Energy Pod 3s. And then with that, we can set some ants over here to go and work on that trail. So we'll do that. set that to 2. And we will make our first energy pod 3s, and we'll leave it at that for this episode, because yeah, we pretty much ready to make our thumper. Once we have our 10 energy pod 3s, we're ready to make our thumper. We do need a storage for them, so we'll chuck a storage over here. There they go. Check it out. 2 energy pod 2s fused into an energy pod 3, and they should be stored in there. We'll get a dispenser ready on this side and shove them all to the other side of the world as they come out, because we have no use for energy pod 3s on this side of the world. And check out these lovely blue beauties that we're making. Energy pod 3s. Beautiful. Get them into the right spot. That way we can get them carried out over to this side of the world. They need a storage box, so we need another stockpile over here to get dropped off. And here is our first flight of energy pod 3s onto the desert island, ready to go into our thumper. Fantastic. Look at that. We need 25 of these, so that won't take too long. We'll let that run between episodes, and next episode we're going to activate our thumper and get our 4th island. Alright, we'll leave it there for this episode, guys. We've done plenty of progress. The most important thing is we finally balanced out our gene cocoon. Look at that. We just need one more drone and then it's off, ready to go. Next gene is coming in. I think we can make even more genes per hour than 4. Maybe we can get to like 5. 5 will be good, because our next big enhancement is going to be Inventor Ants 2. So yeah. Alright guys, we'll leave it here this episode. If you don't want to miss out on what's coming next, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.